This is the best news to wake up to. So I'm over here trying to do a video, but I'm like, let me just make sure that the video is accessible to all. So um, to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you all the Kirkus review that Mrs. Franchy's Evil Ring and the 6 months that changed everything got. And I'm going to put it together with the actual review so that way you can both hear it and or you can read it as well. Okay, so I am excited. So please, I apologize in advance for my extreme nervousness, but this is the best kind of nervousness to get. All right, so here we are, Mrs. Franchy's Evil Ring and the 6 months that changed everything. Ortega presents the story of a precocious young girl on a journey to find her voice and heal from the past in this middle grade novel. Dominican American Isla Delgado lives in a cramped city apartment with her pregnant mommy, her stepfather, Daddy Leon, and her younger brother, Devon. Isla tends to keep her problems to herself, and she's got plenty of them, including struggling with her fourth grade schoolwork and trying to repress memories of the abuse she suffered as a 5-year-old at the hands of her papi's former wife, Mrs. Maria. Now, papi has remarried again to a woman named Francesca, Mrs. Franchy, and Isla must unwillingly go to live with them for 6 months. Inspired by a scary movie she wasn't supposed to have seen, as well as the theory that all fiction stems from truth, Isla enlists the help of her best friend Evelise and a bully-turned-friend Melissa to prove that Mrs. Franchy is an actual witch. But the more she gets to know Mrs. Franchy, the more confused about good and evil Isla becomes. The author does a phenomenal job tackling the painful subject of child abuse and its consequences. A pre-story section discusses the sensitive topics covered, such as abuse, food restrictions, the pandemic, and even Santa Claus, as well as suggestions for adults on how to speak to their children about these subjects. Isla's imagination bursts off the page, whether she's envisioning her mother as an angry fire-breathing dragon or suspecting that Papi's and Mrs. Franchy's dog, John, might actually be a kid trapped in a dog's body. Ortega masterfully conveys the way kids think. Words bust inside my head, all the words, but then it's like a traffic jam, a word traffic jam in my head. And feel, making it a joy to follow Isla on her journey toward overcoming trauma and expressing herself. The bold, full-color illustrations by Vesle are a delightful addition. Thank you so much for the illustrations. I'm telling you, I got so lucky with everyone that worked on this book with me. All right, lastly, a compassionate, witty affirmation that it is okay to speak up. Oh, they got it. They got it. That is all that I wanted to represent in this book. It's just for whoever to read this book to have that one takeaway, that it is okay to speak up. I wanted kids to read this to know that it is okay to speak up. When you see something being done wrong, when something is being done wrong to you, you have to speak up. It is okay to speak up. And I am so happy that that came through, and that this review and the other reviews that I have gotten are getting that. I am so happy because I think I made it. It may not seem like a lot to people. This is just one review. I've only gotten like 3 reviews really in this book, so I don't have that many. But when the reviews come out and they get what I was trying, the theme of that book, what I wanted the reader to leave the book with, I think I've made it. I think my job as an author in this book, I got it. I did it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kirkus. Thank you for all the ones, Cindy, Dal, everyone that has gotten this book, read it, and left me a review. I really appreciate you, because this is how indie books get out, by word of mouth. So if you haven't read this book, please give it a try. If you don't have the financial means, just hit me up. I can send you a free ebook ARC, which I still have, through BookFunnel, and all I ask is just for an honest review. That's all that I ask. I am so thankful today, and I am so thankful that I pushed through. my anxiety, and I worked it out with my therapist so that way this book can come to life, because I really had to work some things out as well as a stepchild and a stepmom as well. There was some things that I worked through when it came to this book, because I needed to speak out and I needed to learn how to speak out myself. So thank you, readers. Thank you, reviewers. And thank you, Mrs. Franchy.